Liam Smith has knocked out Chris Eubank Jr. in what can only be described as one of the biggest boxing shocks of the past year. I don't even think Liam Smith himself would have thought he was going to knock out Chris Eubank Jr. like that so quickly. I mean, nobody's ever even knocked Chris Eubank Jr. down, never mind knock him out like that. And I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. was absolutely all over the place. He had no idea what was going on. It was a good decision from the referee to stop it. But Liam Smith, I think he's earned the respect of so many boxing fans because I don't think many people expected him to win that fight. Eubank was the firm favourite going into it, and Liam Smith proved people wrong. And you know, I was lucky enough to be at the fight yesterday. I got to go backstage and into the dressing rooms, and after Liam Smith's fight I went into his dressing room and he was talking with his brothers, and with Josh Taylor was there as well, and he was saying that how it wasn't a surprise to him, and that he knew that if he connected with Eubank right, he could put him down. It doesn't matter how good his chin was, he knew that he could put him down and he has the power to, and that's exactly what he did. So hats off to Liam Smith. You know, nobody can take anything from that. He won fair and square. As for Chris Eubank Jr., I don't know what was wrong with him, to be honest. I'll insert a video that I took of him entering the arena backstage. And as you can see, he doesn't look that how he usually does, like confident self. He looks a bit like a ghost, but you know, maybe there was nerves possibly. I mean, he had been giving it so much talk, you know, it got a bit heated in the build-up. Maybe Liam Smith got into Chris Eubank Jr.'s head. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. is the king of mind games. He so often gets into his opponent's head. Maybe it backfired. But then again, here's another video of him I took when he was doing his signature ring entrance, and he does look alright there, so you never know. What I think I would probably put it down to mainly is I think Chris Eubank Jr. had an amazing third round. You know, he clearly won that. He was tagging Liam Smith with that uppercut so much, and I think that in the fourth round he just got too comfortable. He just thought, you know, this is going to be an easy fight. You know, he just didn't give Liam Smith enough respect, and Liam Smith earned his respect with that knockout. I mean, that uppercut was a devastating uppercut, and I mean, I think most middleweights would go down from that shot. Where does Chris Eubank Jr. go next? I'm not too sure. I think that he'll probably take the rematch clause. I think Chris Eubank Jr. is a proud man. He's going to want to right his wrongs. But as we all know, Chris Eubank Jr. is a braggadocious guy. He's a confident guy. It's a big part of his persona. And this loss could dent it. You know, it might change him as a person. You never know. This is the first time he's lost a fight like that, so he might not want to have the rematch. He might, you know, he has said on Twitter that he just want to get the rematch going, but you know, that's a quick reaction, that's an instant reaction. Maybe if he leaves it a couple of days, a couple of weeks, he's going to look back on the fight, watch it back, and maybe he doesn't want to go straight into that rematch. Maybe he wants to get some more confidence under his belt. But like I said, I don't think that will happen, and I do think Chris Eubank Jr. will take that fight, and I think he can win the rematch if he is more respectful of Liam Smith and respects his skill, because I think that's a big part of it. I think Chris Eubank Jr. underestimated Liam Smith heavily. Obviously, he was going on about the 50%. I don't think he was 50%, but you know, saying things like that, it plays into your mind that you know, he starts to underestimate him subconsciously. But as for the rest of the night, it was such a great night of boxing. You know, you had Joseph Parker winning. You know, Richard Riakporte, Oko Esiman versus Chris Congo. There were so many good fights, and the atmosphere was amazing. So many nice people there. I'll throw up some pictures of people that I met, and you know, I did an interview with Lyndon Arthur, Fraser Clark. It was just a good night. And another thing that I want to know is Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. They were going at each other. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to put Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall next to each other, but how it was Josh Taylor was sat down, he was already there, and Jack Catterall came, and he was seated like about 2 or 3 seats apart, and at the end of the round of one of the fights, they just started going at each other. I think there were even punches thrown. I'll insert a little clip of it there. But yeah, and when I spoke to Jack Catterall after, he told me that he was just asking Josh Taylor why he'd postponed the fight, because if you didn't know, that fight has been postponed. There's not been a date agreed, but yeah, it's been postponed. So Jack Catterall was telling me that he was asking him why, and Josh Taylor was saying that he you know, he needs to be fit, but he still went for him. He said, we can fight now if you want. And when I spoke to Josh Taylor said, yeah, he injured himself in sparring on Monday, I believe, so the fight is going to be postponed. But yeah, that was interesting. But back to Smith versus Eubank. I think Liam Smith now. I think he needs to have a nice rest. You know, probably one of the biggest wins of his career. Recuperate and possibly get ready for that rematch if it does come around. Speaking to Liam Smith backstage, he said that he would like a fight at Anfield, and if that rematch is at Anfield, that'd be electric. I mean, you can imagine Eubank didn't get a good reception in Manchester, never mind Liverpool. Obviously, he'd probably get pelted with things all the way on the ring walk. But yeah, a fight at Anfield could be next for Liam Smith, possibly Kell Brook if Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't take this fight, the immediate rematch, because obviously Kell Brook has said that he wants the winner. But to be honest, I do think that was probably more aimed at Eubank. I think that he probably thought that Eubank was going to win. But if you just take the Liam Smith fight, Kell Brook versus Liam Smith, that would be a blockbuster fight, and that would be a nice payday for both of them. My advice to Chris Eubank Jr. would be rest up, dust yourself off, don't take it to heart. You know, it is the first time you've been knocked down, and possibly that would be good for his career again. If he does find himself in a spot of bother, he'll know what to do. Because one thing I will criticise Eubank on is that obviously he's never been knocked down before, so he probably didn't know. But he got up way too quickly both times. He should have just, stayed on the floor, took in the 8 count, let his head clear, got back up and got ready to fight. But we saw him just sprawl up too quickly. So I'd say, yeah, don't let it get to you still got the talent to possibly win a world title. I still think that is a realistic achievement that Chris Eubank can fulfill. Possibly not in 2023, but 2024 possibly. So I say, yeah, don't let it affect you too much. Come back better. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments and like the video if you wouldn't mind. But yeah, that's all from me, guys.